First off, wow. Okay, bravo to everyone that stepped up, both in answering the questions and also being courageous enough to ask for help. When I think about what we're building, I know that the actions of this community have proven that we're on the right track for a serious celebration on day 42. What I want to dive into today is this idea of innovation. Technology is changing so fast every day. I mean, who knew what an NFT was last year? Okay, well, better yet, who the hell can explain what it is without using the word bro? Lumen developed this practical note-taking system in the 50s and 60s. And I've mentioned this before, but did you know that he had two different Slipboxes? Yeah. Maybe he refined things as he went along. I mean, maybe he learned? I don't know. Just saying. The first Slipbox had 108 top-level parent blocks of conversation. 108. His second Slipbox had 11. Now, you're going to read the book, and you're going to think that Sonke's way of describing the process seems a bit lacking. And this is no disrespect to the man that literally brought this way of organizing notes to the world. See, before Sonke, it was really just a bunch of Germans talking really German-like to other Germans. Tooth meat? Really? That's actually really good. Anyways, what I respect most about what Sonke did was that he didn't tarnish what Lumen was doing. He took everything that Lumen did and he told us what he did. But I don't know if I just want to throw away all of my fleeting notes, especially now that I don't have to. See, there isn't a large pile of napkins with sloppily written ideas. And how about all of the notifications and distractions and suckholes that are literally made to keep us stuck? And last but not least, how about the limitations that a physical Slipbox has that is brought over when duplicating the system? It's one of the problems that Sonke would tell me about. This application of the analog Slipbox into the digital realm. This is all new territory. And I wonder, if Lumen refined his top-level parent blocks from over 100 to just 11 conversations, how much would he have adapted to things like cloud storage or the power of the block? You know, I've been thinking, if you go to any fine dining restaurant establishment, say like a Michelin-starred restaurant, you'll notice that the portion sizes are rather bite-sized. And I'm not sure what it is, but you'll have nearly every person there after every course exclaiming, "Holy cow, this is the best thing I've ever had." Guilty. But the food literally can fit in my palm, little morsels of food, when compared to, say, a cafeteria or a buffet, maybe, where the portion sizes are as big as the extra large plates. And don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of both. But when I think about how much information we are flooded with every waking moment, I wonder if we can slow down that fire hose of information to more of a nice, gentle stream that we can manage. Now, here's the difficulty. I have to explain why you don't need to capture the whole paragraph, but you won't really know why until you see your notes talking back to you, so I have to convince you that you don't without you knowing that you don't. Let's see if this works. Okay, carrying on with the restaurant theme. Say you're at this new restaurant, but it's located in the city, and it's a huge, sprawling space, so you don't know where the bathroom is. Well, what do? You ask, and someone may even politely walk you towards that direction. So if you now know, A, where the restroom is, B, where you are in the restaurant, and C, you got to experience what that first time felt like, then after the 10th visit to the same restaurant, do you really need to ask where the restroom is? No, right? So what happens when you add a new note to the Zettelkasten? Aren't you literally remembering where everything is located, even in that large space? Because you have to look at each note to add relevant notes. So if you already know, and you've already experienced what you already know, then you don't have to capture every word in a paragraph. or every sentence in a paragraph because you already have thorough notes on the topic, right? But I'm getting ahead of myself. For today's guided writing exercise, I want you to capture 3 fleeting notes. But let me walk you through this. Let's open up your page into the sidebar and fire off day 19's template. Inside, you'll find 3 empty templates for fleeting notes with a reference note tag. If you go to the book and open that into the main window, choose a chapter at random. Yes, at random, but maybe something in the middle. I want you to read, but let me be clear, read with intention. I want you to read like your life depended on it. I want you to think that bombs could be going off around you, but you are so absorbed by each word you don't even care. See, this sort of pinpoint focus is like the fancy restaurant with the small portions. You've narrowed your scope in order to take in each flavor, or in this case, each word. Now, read until there's a line that makes you go, and be very discerning. Be very cautious. Because if you're going to spend 15, 30, 45 minutes processing that note later, abstracting everything that you can about it, it better be something you care about. When something does fit the bill and you're ready to capture, be quick. Those moments are very short-lived, and if you don't capture it quickly, you're going to end up scanning the whole paragraph again, which means you missed it. Keep reading until that moment happens again. If it doesn't happen, you very well may end up reading the whole book. So choose a chapter near the beginning. But when that moment happens again, when the lights come on in your brain and you're like, ooh, this is interesting, stop. Look into the sidebar and write. Write until you have enough evidence to know exactly why you stopped on this sentence, more so than any other sentence you've read. Now, this will not take more than 5 minutes, most likely around 2 minutes. And if you think it's the whole paragraph, start over. You missed it. But if you've got it, write until you have enough so if you had to come back to this, say a week later, a month later, you'd still remember why this sentence, above everything else you read, made you stop and capture this moment. And what you're doing is you're leaving a breadcrumb trail for your future self, and often you won't know exactly why until you write. Or think. Thinking is writing, writing is thinking. When you're done with that capture and you're happy with the amount of evidence, then go back to the text and copy the block reference to the block with the text in it. Paste that within the parentheses of the reference notes. You see that? And then go back and copy the actual sentence of the paragraph that made you stop. Copy the text of just the sentence or phrase and paste that in the child block underneath reference notes. You're done with the first capture. Continue reading where you left off and find 2 more instances where you were like, ooh, this is interesting. And if you did the first capture right and focused on digging up why you stopped, you ought to feel like you want to keep reading to see what else you can find. That's interesting, isn't it though? Because this is what's happening when you get into a flow state. And what if this was the solution to the information overload where the focus is induced because of this simple lightweight structure that you trust in, using the technology that Rome offers and this frictionless way of writing? I'll see you in the guided writing exercise.